Okay, KF7QGY here, doing something a little bit different. I started riding scooters a couple years ago and everything, having some fun for some commuting. And one of the main scooters that I use is called the Emove Cruiser. And I found some interesting things. There were some modifications that I was in the middle of doing with an older scooter and everything, and decided to get a couple of the new Emove Cruiser S models, upgraded with the sine wave controller instead of a square wave controller and things like that for efficiency and operating temperature. And just between the two scooters that were ordered, at least within about 6 months apart, there's been a lot of interesting modifications that have already been made. I'm guessing by Emove, so I just wanted to go over them real quick and point them out for anybody that has never opened up their scooter or isn't sure about buying it, and if they're actually listen to recommendations and improvements. So what you end up seeing here with this first one, this one more resembles a lot of the previous model cruisers, where everything inside is kind of a rat's nest. There's no waterproofing connectors or anything like that of it. This little printed circuit board that's in here, wires have been known to break off and everything like that. It's not protected in any way except for basically heat shrink that's on there. So no waterproofing or anything like that to speak of. They did start changing up a couple of the connectors. You can see back inside that it looks more like one out of like a radio controlled car. For doing the battery connections for the charging and whatnot. They had it to where they were just about like the motor wires there, with just the white connectors with a barrel type connector. So they're making a lot of improvements. They spaced out the controller inside the cruiser deck. Spaced it out from the battery for cooling. Didn't see any kind of signs of fins for cooling, so I'm really hoping that with the way that they end up doing up the sine wave controller, that it's a whole lot more efficient as well as cool to ride even in the summer. That was one of the reasons why I went from a black scooter to a white one. One of the things that they do have in here is essentially a buck converter. It's a voltage converter to go from the 52 volt system down to a 11.3 volts essentially automotive power to power the deck lights. And then they have the ever, in my opinion, useless turn signal controller. The beep is more effective than the lights on the back of it. I might demonstrate that in another video. I usually end up just disconnecting it. The newer scooter, however, they've made quite a few changes to. They end up going with waterproof connectors for everything inside. This black box right here is actually the same exposed circuit board that you'll find right here in some of the older Emove Cruisers, and even some of the, I'm guessing probably first model Cruiser S's. So they contained it so that the wires don't break off as easy. Waterproofing with the silicone, stuff like that. Waterproof connectors. I had already disconnected that turn signal flasher that I had talked about. And then this inside here is the buck converter, the voltage converter for the deck lights, all of which waterproofed. As you can see, there's a huge difference. One's a rat nest of exposed individual wires coming out of the main harness, and the other is not. They are all very nice and neat in large harnesses and everything, with plenty of extra wire for maintenance and stuff like that, but you don't have the huge rat nest that you used to anymore. The controller is the same inside. Doesn't have any of the cooling fins from what I can tell. I have not removed it yet. I haven't wanted to, just because of how nice and neat it sits inside that deck with the foam pads and stuff like that. It's a lot smaller than the upgraded square wave controller that was in some of the later model Emove Cruisers. And so it fits much better in the deck, which is actually very nice for space. You're not pinching the battery cables and other miscellaneous things like that. So Just wanted to do up that quick little video. Again, something different than what I normally end up doing, but I end up tinkering and playing around with things, figuring out how stuff works and modifying stuff. I've been working on some modifications for lights, because there's been some problems that I've noticed with the Cruiser lights. And so hopefully more videos will end up coming from this. Thanks for watching.